Today we are going to talk about the infamous origin story of narcissism, the concept of narcissistic fleas, and if you struggle with narcissistic fleas, how to cope with this challenge effectively. This discussion will shed light on whether narcissism is primarily shaped by genetic or environmental factors, how narcissistic fleas can impact you, and practical steps to overcome it. But before we get into it, let me introduce myself. I'm Jen Hachia, and on this channel, we explore the complexities of psychology and manipulation in both relationships and professional settings, and then we discuss it in the comments below. So if that feels interesting to you, you are welcome to subscribe, and if you are a regular watcher already, hello there. Now let's continue the episode. Let's start by addressing a common misconception about narcissism. Many people believe that narcissists must have learned their manipulative behaviors from their environment. Perhaps a toxic or abusive upbringing, excessive pampering, or problematic parental figures. And while these factors certainly play a role, research indicates that narcissism is not solely a product of one's upbringing. Instead, there is a significant interplay between nature and nurture in personality development. To illustrate this, let's consider the question of whether a harmful environment inevitably produces harmful individuals. For example, 50 years ago, many families held rigid, prejudiced views. Did everyone growing in such environments become prejudiced or malevolent? No, clearly not. Just as the flower power movement in the 1960s saw many young people rebelling against their conservative parents' values, individuals often develop beliefs and behaviors that diverge from their upbringing. And this suggests that while environmental factors can influence personality development, they do not dictate it entirely. According to Barry, Cotton, and Jorgensen, adolescent self-compassion can interact with narcissism and self-esteem, impacting behavioral outcomes. Their study suggests that individuals are not doomed to replicate their environment's negative traits. Rather, personal attributes like self-compassion can significantly influence the outcomes. Regarding narcissistic fleas, this is a term to describe the phenomenon where individuals who are exposed to narcissists in their upbringing may develop narcissistic traits themselves. And this happens not because these individuals inherently possess these narcissistic traits, but because of prolonged exposure to manipulative behavior. In such cases, these traits are a form of maladaptive coping rather than a core aspect of their personality. A fascinating parallel can be drawn to what's known as the medical student syndrome, where students studying health conditions develop symptoms that they are learning about. Similarly, engaging extensively with information about narcissism can lead to temporary anxieties about having narcissistic traits yourself. And this phenomenon is also known as nossophobia, which is the fear of developing a disease based on learning about it. A 2023 study actually highlighted this issue, demonstrating that increased exposure to medical knowledge can lead to heightened fears about one's own health. So if you're finding yourself worried about whether you have developed narcissistic traits from dealing with a narcissist, it's essential to keep things in perspective. And if you are concerned about being a narcissist, the likelihood of you being a narcissist is very, very low. As Miller and Stiver discuss in their work on healing connections, self-awareness and concern are usually indicators of personal integrity rather than narcissistic tendencies. So moving on to practical advice. It is crucial to address these so-called narcissistic fleas by adopting healthier coping mechanisms. And the first step is acknowledging the problem. Once you recognize that you have these traits, you can work towards replacing them with healthier behaviors. Surround yourself with supportive people and seek support from therapy and support groups. Setting boundaries and practicing self-care are also vital components of this process. When dealing with narcissistic fleas, remember that the environment and the behaviors that you were exposed to do not defy you permanently. So it's about addressing and recognizing these behaviors rather than accepting them and validating them as a part of your identity. It's also important to not get trapped into this cycle of self-doubt and over-analysis of everything. So constantly reading and analyzing narcissism can lead to a loop of self-pity and re-traumatization, which of course is counterproductive to the healing process. Instead, focus on healing and trying to move forward. So a personal story that I would like to share on this is that years ago, when I started reading about narcissism and studying about all this, I became convinced that I was a narcissist myself. And I became really concerned with it. So during therapy session with my psychologist, I expressed these concerns. I told her, please just be honest with me. Tell me the truth. I can handle it. I can change, but just be honest with me. Am I a narcissist? Just tell me. And she said that narcissists usually don't question their own behaviors in this way. So just based on my genuine concern and worry about this, she could reassure me that no, I was not a narcissist, which made me sigh of relief, but also it brought awareness to why I even thought I might be a narcissist, and then realizing that I was taking responsibility for other people's behaviors towards me, and of course that I had a case of narcissistic fleas that I had to deal with myself, and I did. And of course this personal experience just highlighted that my anxiety about it was more about self-awareness and less about actual narcissistic traits. So it's important to understand that narcissism is not just nature or nurture, and that there is a genetic component to it and an environmental factor to it, but that ultimately, regardless of, if it's environmental or genetic, the important thing is that if someone has narcissistic traits and they are aware of it and they actually want to consciously address it, then that is very likely not narcissism. That is narcissistic traits, and it can be addressed and it can be corrected, and healthier coping strategies can be developed. And of course, this is essential if you are genuinely concerned and invested in having healthy relationships with others and also with yourself. So thank you for joining me today in this discussion. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this. I know that a lot of people have very diverse thoughts in this topic, and I would love to hear everybody's thoughts about it and engage in a discussion. As long as we remain respectful, there is no reason why we should not be able to discuss, even if we disagree. So thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please like, share. If you want to see more of me, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to hear more about this topic in specific, more details, more research, more basically everything, you can listen to the Ego Next Door podcast. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!